Welcome to our presentation on teaching the career component of STEM careers when we're busy teaching the science content in our science classes. My name is Sarah Nern, and I'm the K-12 Outreach Coordinator for the Department of Chemistry at Purdue University.
And I'm the K-12 Outreach Coordinator for the Department of Earth, Atmospheric, Planetary Sciences, Stephen Smith. So let's start oftentimes with the career connection. That we found that what happens most of the time?
Well, a lot of times it's skipped. I don't even, because I'm worried about the content. I want to get my content to the students.
We're worried about
priority.
Our content.
Yeah.
And we'd like to do more career connection, but it's really kind of hard to fit in. And when we do, it seems like it's forced. And maybe it's a research report.
Research lesson. Right. End of the year, we're done. We're going to research here's some STEM careers.
So
there's got to be a better way.
Kind of give it a little service here and there.
Yeah, right.
But we feel that using podcasts is a great way to engage the students. A lot of students use podcasts. If not, they live on YouTube at home. And so I know my kid does.
My kids, all three of my kids, yeah.
So we're like, okay, so how can we use that technology in a way that's going to help us do kind of one of the things that's missing a little bit, which is the career connection. In the podcast, we have found, and we went ahead, we're going to, as an example, we're going to use the one that we put together. We made a podcast just for this. There are other podcasts out there. You can go Subpar and find one of those if you want. Fair enough?
That's fair.
But we're just going to use ours as an example. Right. Because it's literally why we put ours together. We're in our third season. But like I said, there are others out there. You can just take the advice that we talked about with this and assign others to. So you don't have to use ours by any means. But all right, so the first thing we talked about is the fact that a lot of podcasts, including ours, is both audio and video.
Right.
You can download it as just like an MP3 from an audio player, and so it's like, I know ours. Oh heck, it's available on. I haven't found a platform it's not available.
It's not right. We pushed it out to pretty much. If you
I
find a podcast
Apple,
platform, let us know.
It's
Apple,
all the Podbeans and Libsyns, and
we just added the Amazon.
Yeah, the Amazon one now. It's apparently I know it's most podcasts they go through a provider and just gets pushed out. So your kids can simply listen to MP3. Doesn't take much bandwidth, which is nice, and they can listen to it whenever.
And that's where we started. We started with the podcast.
Just
Season
podcasts.
1 was only audio recordings with that.
Well, too many teachers wanted to see the people we were interviewing.
Because of that STEM career connection. They said, this is great. Can we see what they look like? Can we see these real people doing this research to show the students? It's just a more powerful, that visual aid is more powerful for the students.
And so we started a YouTube channel. And so now we release it both on podcast and so on all the players and on our YouTube both.
Right.
So we do them all through video now. But so there's one. It's kids are either on YouTube or they're listening to podcasts half the time anyway, one or the other. So it kind of meets them where they are. The interviews, oftentimes, I know ours do, and some of the other podcasts that I listen to as well, they will cover a content. And so it's nice to use that content as a preview for a unit. We're going to talk more about here in a minute. And then they get to hear from someone, it's like ours are all interviews, and they get to hear from someone that's actually in that career. Maybe they're doing research or that's just their profession.
The other part, if you choose, so ours we know are going to be really directed with that science or STEM content. If you choose other podcasts, you just really want to make sure before that's assigned to your students, go ahead and give that a quick listen.
Oh yeah.
Before we've listened to some, when we were doing our research and first preparing our podcast, we noticed that some podcasts that it looked like they're intended for the students do have some maybe questionable, depending on the age of the student, material. You might not realize because it's kind of thrown in there in the middle, and we were a little shocked at some of it. Ours, you're going to know for sure. Superheroes of Science, anything released there, it's all going to be...
it's going to be legit, and it's going to be classroom friendly.
Family friendly. Classroom friendly.
Classroom friendly. We want to make sure it all is.
Right.
And then the nice part, if you start using the podcasts, then they will, you give them a choice and through different units to them. And then the students are going to see not only a variety of careers in science, they're going to be exposed to a variety of people, all kinds of different types of people doing science, which is really, really nice for them to be able to see and be able to not develop their own stereotypes of what a scientist might look like.
Absolutely.
You're going to see they look like all different types of people. And so that's, to me, one of the kind of the powerful things of it. Here's an example. So we talked about maybe giving them units. So this one is, if we're doing weather, let's say we're going to do a unit on weather. I picked something randomly, by the way. And so we have a storm chaser talking about data, what he does with data and explaining severe storms. We have, what's that next one? Oh, Gowrie talking about clouds.
Right.
And what was hers about?
Hers was about, making brighter clouds, or how brighter clouds are formed, and then the interaction between clouds and aerosols in the atmosphere.
So all these would relate in a way to weather.
Yeah.
And so then, of course, the others, Dan Sitzo is actually the next two. He's done a couple of those for us, because the first one that's up on the screen, the Godzilla Sierra dust cloud, the dustpocalypse, that's when we had the big dust storm come through. And so he's an atmospheric science that actually, this is what he researches, particulates in the air. So he explained what are the Sierra dust storms. He explained all the details behind that. You can listen to it if you're interested. But the next one of his is the hole in the ozone
layer, which is wonderful. Now that is one that you're going to notice all the others that we have up here have video with them. The hole in the ozone layer with Dan Sitzo is an audio only. It was from season 1. Every once in a while, we'll get a comment from a teacher like, "Hey, why isn't there a video with this one?" I'm like, well, that was season 1, but he did
such a good job explaining what the hole in the ozone was about.
Absolutely.
And the science behind that.
Yeah,
that's one you got to include, in my opinion. Then we have Patrick from NASA. He's a NASA climate scientist. Does a really good job talking about clouds and
when pollution, and actually he talks a little bit about when all of a sudden the pollution disappears, right?
Yes.
Or when you have a reduction in pollution, maybe due to a global pandemic.
And the last one, Mike Baldwin, he's a meteorologist. He's a professor here at Purdue in this department. And he's a meteorologist and he talks about weather. He teaches people how to be forecasters. And he explains El Nino and El Nina as a part of that, and does a lot of, that's just a really great one for weather. And so here's just an example, and I literally just could look through our playlist. But, oh yeah. And so it's, six different ones. You could just say, pick one of these that relate to our unit and do the assignment on those. So let's say we're going to start weather on Tuesday. And be like, okay, here's 6 different ones. Pick one of these and do that. You could do an assignment as simple as write a paragraph.
Oh, yeah.
Write a paragraph of something interesting you learned on that. What we did for some of them, season 2, we have most on season 2. We have either a Google Doc and or a Google form already put together. And so we have the questions for them. A lot of the teachers want to just do more of a free response. And so we thought, well, if not enough people are doing that, we're not going to take our time making them for all of them.
Right.
Hey, if you want us to make up for one from season 3 or late season 2,
yeah,
we'll do it. No, let us know. Just don't expect it tomorrow. But we would do that. But the Google form, I'll let you explain that.
Yeah, the Google form, depending on your learning management system that you're using, if you're a Google school, we have the link to those off of our webpage where you can put that right into your Google Drive, and then it's just as simple as assigning that through Google Classroom. The form, if you set up a spreadsheet ahead of time, your students will populate all of those. You'll get all your answers, and the kids kind of can do all that right online. The Google Doc is more just a worksheet that could be. It could also be assigned, or it could be printed if you need to do that. It's kind of your preference. Well, I don't know.
Print's dead.
Is it?
It depends on the classroom.
It does.
It will be dead soon. All right, so a couple of links we'll throw at you real fast. Well, you can pause the video. I don't have to leave it up, I guess. But the first one is our Superhero Science on YouTube. That's our YouTube. And so we have the playlists, and we have all kinds of things on there. We have a whole playlist just for teacher PD.
Yes.
So all these teacher PD things we throw in there. And so the different ones. And these are, just sessions that we would normally do at conferences before.
Absolutely.
And or some of them are literally things that we teach at professional developments. We've just made them into videos and put them on YouTube, so it's always there for you. I know one school was telling us that for their professional development days, they were actually pulling those and just using some of those. because they emailed us some questions afterwards. And that's fine. That's why it's there. It's there for you. And the other is the page. That's our web page for the science, K12.SOS, Superheroes Science. I'll go ahead and click that really fast and show you. When we have whatever's going on now, we've created this for the STEM conference.
Right.
And so that's what is up there explaining that. As we scroll down, here's our Mondays, and this is what we're talking about. Here's our Mondays, and we could scroll down through this, and you'll see the last few that we posted. We didn't put the worksheets, but here's like worksheets and Google Forms, and here's what we're talking about here. If I just click Google Form, that's what you're going to get. Do you want to make? Does that say make a copy?
It does say, and don't be alarmed. That's just to make sure it gets into your Google Drive.
That's
so that
you're not
access.
submitting answers to us.
Right.
That won't help you if you kids do that. So I'll just make a copy of that real fast. Did I click it? Yep, I did. Now this is in my drive, and I can actually just send this right to my students and have it create a.
You probably before you send it to your students, you'll want to make sure you set. If you click on responses there in the middle, just make sure you set up a spreadsheet.
Boom! There it is.
Yep. And it's kind of
there
the right,
you go, right here,
right corner, up the green
here,
box.
I'll give you the mouse because I don't have my glasses on. I can't see the computer very well.
Okay. I know, no. There we go. All right. Yeah, if you click on that little green box, create a new spreadsheet, and you go ahead and create that. Once you have that created, it's probably in the same place in your drive where you saved the copy of the form, and then you can go back to questions. And you're going to be able to send that out through email. You can send your link. You can post
Put it
the
on
link.
your classroom learning program.
Learning management, yep.
It's okay. That's just those. Actually, you have like a whole video on that.
We do, yeah. That's another one.
So here, jump back over to the,
Yeah.
And so that's how those work. The worksheets are the same way. They're the Google Docs, the worksheets.
I think my favorite part, I like this center column because it's just a quick snapshot of what all is involved in each of those.
And you can scroll down through these. Is it that one or the other? Just scroll with the mouse, I think.
Okay.
I see. You're on the sidebar.
Yeah,
then there's the far
two bars,
side.
Yeah.
Because I could see the small bar. And aren't you clever? I never see that bar. But you scroll down and see all of them. We update it, fairly regularly.
Right.
And so I won't say every single week we get it updated. But just scroll down and you'll see them all.
Yeah.
And then here, scroll down a little bit further. On the page, since we're there, the ones we talked about for professional development, we put most of them here on this. So just like that, it has a sub-scroll. You can scroll through and see those. And and just the resources, infographics. That's for the science fair things. We have those videos that we've linked as a part of the conference too. So you have those. All right, I feel like we've deviated here. We've gone. We want to go back to the podcast things.
Right.
So the big thing is they're easy to assess. You could do a free response, have it do that. You don't have to make it all formal. You could make a worksheet of your own to make sure they're getting what you want out of it. For ours, we have some worksheets if you're using ours. A lot of ours have those. You can use those. It's easy. I'm going to start a unit on whatever. We have a lot, and other people have podcasts. I'm sure they have a lot too, and but we can't promote them because we're not allowed. We're at a university. We're not allowed to promote other things necessarily,
Right.
And so we can't tell you the ones that we would necessarily because let's face it, we just listen to ours.
Yeah.
But it's easy. You could do a free response. You could just have. And it's background content, and they see someone in that career. They find out about a career that they could do down the road. And so are they finding out all the careers they can do in, like, weather, for example, or whatever, in what's the study of the mushrooms?
Oh, yeah, mycology.
Yeah, mycology.
Learned about that. I didn't know what that was.
And so just think about and flip through and find some that work for your students and give them this. Hey, next Tuesday we're going to do that. So I keep saying Tuesday. I don't know why. Who starts units on Tuesdays? But it's a pretend world.
Monday test, right?
Yeah. Monday's the test. Tuesday's the new unit.
Right.
We're going to start the unit. So this gives you a little bit of pre-knowledge.
Yeah.
And it gives them a little bit of knowledge. I mean, it's if you're in earthquakes. I mean, Robert Nowak, this, that, and he's a seismologist, and he does a great job explaining that. I'm gonna be honest. I listen to a lot of podcasts just for myself, to gain more information. I'll listen to like the Superheroes of Science. I'll listen to podcasts like this to just gain. It's cool learning new things. And so pick a podcast you can learn new things on. I listen to them both professionally and personally. I have like different exercise ones and stuff I listen to, and things like that too.
And then just getting back to the whole point of our session, this session is that as a teacher, I needed something, content was the first priority.
Yeah.
I needed something that would align both the content and pull in the STEM careers. And I really feel like this is our product that we can offer that is going to meet both of those. You're still going to get content that's relevant to what you're teaching. Like Stephen said, from a lot of different people that are doing various parts of that, and you're going to be able to integrate that with what you're already teaching with those STEM related careers. So it's pretty cool.
It's another resource. And give it a try. Thanks.